What's up, guys? Welcome to this week's video. Today I'm gonna give it with Luna. Usually it's Bailey. No, you can't eat that. Mwah. I did not make it out of my PJs today, but I did make it out of my bed to the couch. Pretty much because I wanted to pet Luna. Today I'm going to go over how pricing can elevate your business. The whole premise behind this video is that you can use pricing to develop trust with your clients, and that in turn gives you better relationships, gives you better work. It all kind of goes hand in hand with each other. At first I didn't realize that pricing could ever be something to help strengthen the bond that you have with your couples until it just naturally started happening for me. So I'm just gonna go through what I did to do that. I also just want to say, cover all my bases, because I know people feel very strongly about things and I don't want to be in the crossfire, but I'm just putting my opinion out here for you guys to judge. I'm not saying I do pricing the right way. I'm just saying that this worked for me, and because I believe so passionately about the way I do pricing, I think it really translated well with my couples. And I also just really want to encourage people to kind of think for themselves and stop doing things just because they're industry standard. There are a lot of things that I did in my pricing that kind of went against industry standard at first. So I just want to kind of talk about that a little bit more with you guys. I didn't do anything crazy. I'm not freaking painting the Mona Lisa over here with photography pricing, but I just did things moderately different because they made sense to me that way. Don't think anything too wild is coming at you. I also just want to talk about this because I feel like pricing is never talked about with photographers and it's super secretive, and I'll go into that more later. But I just don't really feel that way about pricing. In my first year of business, the second most popular reason that people contacted me, or they mentioned on my contact form, was that they loved the way I did pricing and it really resonated with them. So it really did help me get inquiries, strangely enough. You never think your pricing is going to make people really want to hire you unless you're dirt cheap, but it actually kind of did, so that's cool. I got rice cake in my eye. I'm also too lazy to make lunch today, so I'm just eating an entire bag of rice cakes. That's good. Adulting at its finest. So the first thing I did differently that people mentioned the most when they contacted me was that I put all of my pricing on my website. I know that if I were looking for a photographer, I would want to know if I was in the general ballpark of where I could afford. I feel like I'd be wasting someone's time if I was just emailing a ton of people just for them to come back and have them be out of my price range, and I just felt from a client's perspective that would be super frustrating. So from a business perspective, I didn't want to make clients frustrated. So all my pricing is listed on my website. It always will be, always has been. It's all right there. Also, this was brought up to me in almost every single initial consultation I had with couples. Every single one of them would say how refreshing my pricing was because everything was right there. So they already knew they could afford me by the time they contacted me. I feel like this happens every single video. Bailey, are you starting the video? I think Bailey thinks that licking me is her full-time job. Literally, she'll lick my hand for hours. It's so weird. Okay, Bailey, no more. We can't show people on YouTube how weird you are. We can't show people how weird you guys are. I know. Anyways, so number 2 for things I did was I offered unlimited coverage, which sounds like a freaking hellacious day, but it honestly wasn't that bad. Couples would usually take my, this is such a shit show of a video. I just really hated the idea that I could potentially miss something just because I put some random hour constraint on the day, and I wanted to give couples that peace of mind that I would be there for every important moment. I also know that my couples trust me in my judgment, so it ended up with me not working an obscene amount of hours. I would just tell them when it was a good time for me to come and go, and they were 99% of the time on board with that. So it wasn't I was working a 20-hour wedding. It was mostly a 10 to 12-hour wedding, which is definitely long, but again, I didn't miss any moments, which was really important to me. And that was another thing that helped develop trust with my clients, because I knew I cared more about being there for their special moments than I did about getting paid by the hour. Bailey's just gonna do the rest of the video. Okay, number 3, I don't travel for stuff in my state. Number 3 thing I did is that I don't charge travel fees. What are you guys doing? Number 3 is that I don't charge travel fees for any travel in my state. I feel like people feel like they're being nickel and dimed every time that they get charged travel fees for somewhere that's pretty relatively close. I've had couples talk to me about how photographers will charge them literally just to meet with them in the first place. before they've even booked them, and I was like, wow, that's rough, man. If I was meeting with a photographer and they were like, yeah, sure, but you have to pay $200 for me to come and like even meet me, I'd be like, nah. I get that like our time is valuable and stuff like that, but I also get like so is their time. Also, like I know that I'm going to travel for every single wedding, so I just include that travel fee, whatever that would be, in my pricing. Like I just account for that. I don't really understand like travel fees when they're not super far away, honestly. These are the real stars of the show. I don't even know why I'm trying to be in this video. This is how clients clash when they feel like they're being ripped off. See, Bailey is the client and Luna is the photographer being like, no, I want to help you, but Bailey's like, no, you're nickel and diming me. It's like an interpretive dance, but for photography and clients and pricing. Okay guys, we gotta get to work. So yeah, like I said, I don't charge travel for my state. I don't like clients feeling like they're being nickeled and dimed. I don't think it's worth it. I just account for that. Number 4 is when I was lower in my price range, I only had one package. I knew, not from experience because I'm not married, but I just knew that couples had to face like a ton of decisions when they were getting married. And I just kind of wanted to make it like a little bit easier for them and just have like one all-inclusive package. They didn't have to make any decisions. Like I was cheap enough that they could likely afford me if they were getting married in the first place. So I just charged that one package, and I honestly didn't know how it would go, but it seemed to work really well for everyone because it was just like they were buying like my highest package. They didn't have to make any decisions. It was just like, oh, okay, that's it, cool, done. I don't know, it just really seemed to work for me, especially at the start. Like I actually got a lot of positive feedback about it, even though I wasn't sure how that was gonna go. Now I do have 3 packages just because I am like in a lot higher price range, and I know that some people wouldn't be able to afford me if I didn't have like lower options for them. And I talk about actually how much money I cost in another video, so if you're curious about that or want to know those numbers or need help deciding for yourself, go to that video. The last and final thing I did that might be like semi-different from things that you guys do is that I include an engagement session with every single package. Now that I have 3 packages, obviously that lower one doesn't have one, but the other 2 do. And until I had those 3 packages, I included an engagement session with everything, especially when I was first starting out, because I knew that I needed more content and pictures and stuff to show for myself. So having those engagement photos was actually great for me. And more than that, like, I think engagement photos are such a great way to get to know your couples and for them to get to know you and get comfortable in front of your camera. So yeah, that's pretty much just an overview of like how I did my pricing and how I presented it. Like again, I was very upfront, and I'm a very upfront person in general, so that's why I kind of did it that way. It just seemed to reflect me and my style, and I think people really responded to that. And then also when I like went to talk with couples about it, I was like so passionate about the way that I did things because I really believe in it, that they understood that, and I think it like kind of played in my favor a little bit. All this is to say that you don't have to do pricing the same way that I do it, the same way that somebody else you know does it. Do it in a way that makes sense for you. And I feel like when you actually use your pricing to reflect yourself and your own opinions and beliefs and priorities in this business, then you will build a better relationship with the couples that also have those same beliefs. And I think that just helps elevate your business and builds trust with your clients, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that is how I used pricing to elevate my business. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.